What's going on, guys? Sticks here with the Token Minorities, bringing you another deck on Pokemon TCGO, and today I am bringing you finally another legacy deck centered around the combination of Feraligatr Prime and Magnezone Prime. I believe this is the first time I am doing the Feraligatr Prime, and before I get into the deck, just a reminder that if you guys liked this video or found it helpful, please leave a like, drop a comment, click that subscribe button. It helps us out a ton, and let's just do more cool stuff for you guys. And if you guys are new to the channel, please feel free to check out the TTM Discord that will be linked in the description below. Here at TTM, we are a collaborative channel, so there is more than just the TCG content, which is why you clicked on this video. There is also draft format content from myself and two others, so if any of that interests you, please feel free to subscribe, and also check out our Discord that will be linked in the description, where we do have channels for TCG, draft format, and Smogon if you guys are into that. And as for the question of the day, so obviously this is going to be centered around the combination of Feraligatr Prime with Rain Dance, where you just put a bunch of water energy onto water Pokemon, and Magnezone Prime, which is very, very cool. 140 HP, so really not that bulky at all. With the Magnetic Draw Pokepower, once during your turn you may draw until you have 6 cards in your hand. Absolutely absurd ability, basically just Octillery's ability on steroids, but I mean that's just as well because it's a stage 2 and it has the Lost Burn attack, so Magnezone is actually an attacker in this deck as well. Put as many energy attached to your Pokemon, so not just Magnezone, as you like into the Lost Zone. This attack does 50 damage times the number of energy cards you put in the Lost Zone, so basically you can just blow some stuff up pretty significantly with Magnezone, and with Feraligatr it's pretty easy to get a bunch of energy on board. Oops, sorry about that. I'm going to pause and get rid of that off of the oak. Much better, there we go. And continuing with the question of the day, so obviously Octillery saw a decent amount of play when it was used in the standard format, where it just had the ability, it's a stage 1, draw until you have 5 cards in your hand. Magnezone takes that one step further, draw until you have 6 cards in your hand, but it is also a stage 2 and can also be an attacker as well, something that Octillery really just cannot do at all. I believe its attack is Hug for 2 water and a colorless. For 3 energy, you're doing like 40 damage. Like, that's nothing. Magnezone is actually an attacker as well. So in addition to the really great draw support that it provides the deck, it also is basically the main attacker of this deck. So my question is, would you guys like to see a stage 2 draw 6, basically like Magnezone, come back into the standard format? And I, for one, would actually really, really like that, particularly if it could attack like Magnezone does. I would think if it's like Octillery, where it just does not attack, has no means of attacking, or realistically attacking whatsoever, I think that that would just kind of be a dead card that people would be like, oh, that's kind of cool, but it just takes up too many spots in a deck to where there's just no practical application for it. However, if it can attack as well, I think if you pair like Magnezone and, well, like Zoroark, like pair Magnezone and Zoroark, all of a sudden you have a draw engine that really you don't need draw supporters once you get those set up. You can use your supporters exclusively for things like Guzma or other things like that, where they just gain you advantage because you have all of the draw support that you could possibly need out of Magnezone and Zoroark. So I think that that would be a very, very cool card, only if it could come in and be an attacker. Otherwise, I just think it would be very mediocre. So yeah, that's what I think. Let me know, would you guys like to see a stage 2 draw 6 come back into the standard? If so, how would you like it to be done? Would you like it to not have any attack so that it just is a draw 6 and that's all that it provides a deck, or would you like it to be able to attack as well? But yeah, anyway, sorry I talked for way too long about the question of the day. On to the deck. Like I said, it's centered around the combination of Magnezone Prime and Feraligatr, and I basically covered it in the question of the day. What you do with Magnezone is you attack, 50 damage, Lost Burn, you just put a bunch of energy into the Lost Zone, and with Feraligatr you can get a ton of water energy on board that you can put into the Lost Zone with Magnezone's attack. So just a very cool combination of those two right there, just being able to set up and hit for pretty absurd numbers. And the idea is to only Lost Burn when you're able to take out GXs. This deck struggles against, or GXs, EXs, I've been playing too much Standard. This deck struggles against non-EX decks just because, well, bulky non-EX decks, particularly Kyurem, because you have to Lost Zone 3 energy just to knock a Kyurem out. And yeah, just to knock out 4 Kyurem, you're already Lost Zoning all 12 of your energy. So it's very difficult, and you have to play correctly and you have to play smart. That's why there are a couple Keldeo in there as backup attackers that can function as well, to where you don't have to get rid of the energy in order to take the knockouts, but still just the inherent synergy right there, and Magnezone providing draw support. But as for the numbers of Pokemon running a single copy of Portrait Smeargle, you could run more. I decided to only have one because I wanted higher numbers of other stuff, but this just lets you use more supporter, or use an opponent's supporter, get you better setup, turn 1, turn 2, that type of thing. Just really give you more opportunities to see more cards, get a better setup, to where the fact that this is a slow deck doesn't absolutely destroy you. 2 Exeggcute, just because of the whole, really just this deck relies a lot on puzzle pieces. And so having 2 Exeggcute just gives you more room to be able to junk arm freely, computer search freely, superior energy retrieval freely, all that good stuff. And you might be wondering why I'm not running Ultra Ball if I am so focused on running the 2 Exeggcute. It's because I haven't been able to get 2 Exeggcute in this discard pile as much as I would like. So it's just kind of a compromise where I'm not running Ultra Ball in lieu of Pokemon Search that isn't resource intensive, but I'm still running the double Exeggcute so that I have that opportunity with Junk Arm, Computer Search, and Superior Energy Retrieval, that type of thing. So it's just kind of a nice in-between thing. 3-1-3 of Magnemite through Magnezone Prime. I know I said this is the main attacker of the deck, but realistically you can only get 3 Magnezone setup. Like sometimes you can get 4, but 2 or 3 is about what you're running with in the game, so that's why you only need 3 of them. 2, Keldeo as a backup attacker, and also Rush Treat to avoid things like Laser Bank, decking covered, that type of stuff. And then 3-1-2 of Totodile through Feraligatr, just because Totodile can get sniped down, and if your opponent targets down the Totodile, there's not much Magnezone can do. So, well, I mean, it still can hit, but then it runs out of steam really, really quickly, so having multiple Totodile is very nice. And one thing I forgot to mention is that because Magnezone and Feraligatr have pokey bodies and not abilities, sorry, hit the desk right there, you might be thinking, why not just run Blastoise, because it can attach to every Pokemon and not just water Pokemon? Well, that's where the trade-off occurs. Because Feraligatr has a Poke-ability, like I explained, or is it Poke-Body? Poke-Power. Poke-Power, Poke-Body, same thing, I don't know. But Poke-Power, as opposed to an ability, it doesn't get shut off by Garbodor. The big thing with Blastoise is if Garbodor shuts it off, it's pretty darn useless, all things considered. Well, Feraligatr and Magnezone work around that, to where if your opponent gets a Feraligatr set up, Keldeo and Exeggcute are both shut off, but your main draw engine with Magnezone and your main acceleration engine in Feraligatr are not shut off. So that is very, very huge and very integral for this deck's success. Running up against a Garbodor is actually somewhat beneficial because you know that they're not relying on abilities while you can just use yours freely. As for the items, sorry, I was just like super loud for a second. That's sorry. On to the items. I hate this. I still hate this layout. I really do. 1, Computer Search, just because this deck is so reliant on puzzle pieces. 2, Junk Arms, because with the double Exeggcute, Junk Arms can turn into a free Computer Search. 2, Level Ball, and 2, PCOM for the methods of Pokemon Search. Level Ball lets you get set up pretty quickly, and PCOM is used for the higher evolutions, as you will more than likely have a Pokemon in your hand at one point or another with PCOM, so you can use that. 2, Two rescue receivers, wow. 2 random receivers, again, too much standard, to turn a Junk Arm into a supporter, as we're running a relatively low line of supporters. 3 Rare Candy, only running 3 just because, I mean, we have things like Junk Arm. I keep clicking on that. You know what, screw it, I'm going to do the rest of this with that on there. I apologize. But there's 3 Rare Candy instead of 4 just because of Junk Arm and Computer Search being a thing. 2 of the Superior Energy Retrievals in case a Keldeo gets knocked out or a Feraligatr that's powered up gets knocked out. You can still attack, and we have 2 Tropical Beach to help you get set up in the early game. 3-4 of N and Oak just for draw support. 1 Skyla to search out that Skyla to search out that Computer Search or that Rare Candy. 2 Float Stones for Rush Treat with Keldeo. 2 Silver Bangle to boost the damage output. And then 3 Lightning and 9 Water, just because that's what the deck runs on and you want to have a lot of water for Feraligatr Prime to do its thing. But anyway, I apologize for a very weird deck list. That was weird even by my standards, just because of the background noise, me randomly getting loud, all that good stuff. But yeah, without further ado, let's just go ahead and see this deck in action. Alrighty, we've got one against Henry, and interesting interested to see what deck he's playing. I told him I was playing a fun deck, so hopefully he's playing a fun one against us as well. I mean, I did see the typing, and so it's like Landorus, Mewtwo, Garbodor, which, quite frankly, wouldn't be a horrible matchup for us, and we start off with actually some decent stuff. I'm going to lead with the Totodile, just because against Landorus, Magnemite can pretty easily get one shot, and yeah, Totodile can get two shot, but that's a whole lot better than one shot, and I should be able to maybe get something going. I start off with, okay, so I can work with this, but what I think I'm going to do, I could very well just stall a turn, like just play something and then like play an energy and pass. But I think in this situation, because that way then I would have had the PCOM into a Magnezone, into a Rare Candy. But I think for the time being, the better situation is to just attach and then try to go for stuff next turn. And I get another Exeggcute. That's just another PCOM. So I think I'm just going to call it a turn right there. Hope that I draw into something good. Because I mean, what I have I can work with. But it's just a matter of trying to get Magnezones and Feraligatrs set up as quickly as possible, because, I mean, Feraligatrs, unfortunately, are not able to one-shot the Landorus just clean. I need to be able to have a Silver Bangle on them in order to be able to knock them out, so, I mean, that's a little bit unfortunate right there. But if I get a Keldeo, just a 3-energy Keldeo can one-shot a Landorus, and then also put Mewtwo in range of a Landorus, of a Feraligatr. Wow, I just said them on and then I completely blanked on it. So that's kind of going to be what I'm going for. He does end up ending me, which, I mean, like, I guess that's just his play anyway. But, I mean, it gives me, like, it wasn't a hand that I was, like, married to. But this hand I definitely like a lot more, as I will be able to immediately Rare Candy into a Feraligatr. And then hopefully get like a Magneton or something like that. I mean, the Trubbish is not going to affect us at all except for the Keldeo, which could actually be an issue if that type of play... Ooh. Okay, if I'm able to get 3 water energy this coming turn, I will be able to go ahead and knock out his Landorus. So let's just... I mean, let's just hope that I draw into 3 water energy. Unfortunately, that's not the case, as I do just get a Keldeo, which could be fine. Let's go ahead and Random Receiver. We're getting N. There's a Magneton. I'd really like to have that. But for the time being, I am just going to have to attach the energy. I'm going to play down both Random Receivers just because I might as well. And then let's rush in with Keldeo, let that take the hits. I really don't want... I mean, like, yeah, I know I'm putting up a 2-prize Mon as opposed to the 1-prize attackers, but both the Magnemites and Feraligatr are much more important to this situation than Keldeo is. So I am okay in that situation of just letting it kind of go and just kind of stay there. Like, just kind of take the hits, let me get some stuff going, all that good stuff. So yeah, I mean, he is getting kind of set up. Luckily he's getting started very slowly. Like, he wasn't able to like get a laser bank knockout on my Totodile turn 1, because that would have been really bad if he'd also drawn into an energy. And yeah, he will get a Garbodor up, but like I said, the only ability that's going to affect is the Keldeo, as both Feraligatr and Magnezone have pokey bodies, not abilities. So that is very, very good for us. And crap, here's a Tool Scrapper. I mean, I was thinking about maybe I should save the Silver Bangle until I can for sure attack, but at the same time, like, I thought that I might have the ability to draw into 3 water energy the coming turn, and he still doesn't have much of anything. So unfortunately, Henry's drawing... Oh, there's the energy. Okay, and then do we see the Hypnotoxic Laser? Because if so, that would be really, really bad. But luckily for me, Henry's not getting much going at all. He does get heads. Oh boy, so that means he's going to be able to knock out a Magnemite and spread damage a little bit. So Henry once again killing me with those reversals. That is a very, very unfortunate turn right there. But what I can also do is promote the Keldeo, as he does not have a Float Stone on the Garbodor yet, so his abilities are not in effect. And while I hate to do this for a single energy, like, Keldeo just needs 2 water energy on it in order to be able to knock out a Landorus in one shot. So I think that at this point I just kind of have to go for it, pray that I draw, and I actually draw into... Wow, I actually draw into 3 water energy, which is perfect. So let's go ahead and play the Totodile down, play the Tropical Beach, mostly just to get rid of the poison. Like, that extra poison will be a pretty big deal for trying to knock stuff out and get the right numbers. And then let's put 3 on the Keldeo and then just 1 on the Feraligatr, as all I need is these 3 energy to knock out or to one-shot the Landorus. And then Mewtwo, I mean, like, I'd have to have 6 energy on it anyway, which I'm not very likely to do. But unfortunately, I wasn't able to evolve my Magnemite. So if he does have a fighting energy... Actually, what I also like about the Keldeo play is the fact that he can put up Landorus and take out the Magnemite on my bench with Hammerhead, but that just means that Landorus is going to get one shot that coming the next turn, and then I go down to 2 prizes. So regardless of what he does, or regardless of what he does in this situation, I think I'm very well off, as Verbank Mewtwo will be able to do 100, 130. Yeah, he'll be able to do 130, and then I will be able to hit him for 90, set up the KO with Feraligatr, and then I also have Magnezone for later if that situation arises. So, all things considered, I'm in a very good spot. He is going to computer search and get a card that is fine. Hopefully, he just had to like computer search for a supporter, which I'm pretty sure he did. I'm very positive. I mean, Henry's a good enough player. Like, he's a very good player. So he wouldn't just computer search for something and then Professor Oak's new theory it away. Like, he would have computer searched for that Professor Oak's new theory. And he will just go ahead and random receiver. What's he get? Actually, I really could not care less what he got. I just know that he got a supporter, and I can always just try to Smeargle. Luckily, he does play the TCGO into the Mewtwo, so even though that doesn't seem like a particularly good situation for me, the fact remains that Mewtwo's not going to be able to one-shot... Oh, no. Okay, good. I was about to say, do not one-shot my Magnemite. That would make me or knock out my Magnemite. That would make me very, very sad, because I want to try to get this thing up into a Magnezone, because as soon as I get that, then I don't have to worry about draw for the rest of the game. And I get... that's not what I wanted. But what I can do is just play down the other Magnemite, play down the Smeargle, and then hit the Mewtwo for 90 damage. This way, with 2 energy, I can knock out his Mewtwo next turn. With my Feraligatr, I can also just do a 2 energy Lost Burn to knock out the Mewtwo with a Magnezone if it comes to that. But yeah, at this point, like, he's going to be able to knock out my Keldeo. He'll be able to take 2 prizes. I can promote Smeargle, and then I can bring up, like, Magnezone or Feraligatr. Whichever of those works best, and then finish off this Mewtwo, and I should be in a good spot, because then he still has to take 3 prizes, whereas I only have to take 2. So yeah, all things considered, great spot. Keldeo will be off the board, so it's just a bunch of 1 prizes that he'd have to take from then on out, and I'm able to knock out the EXs pretty easily. Like, Magnezone just needs 3 energy or 2 energy and a Silver Bangle, and Feraligatr, like, just needs a Silver Bangle to one-shot a Landorus, and then Mewtwo, I mean, it has to have damage on it. But odds are he's going to be attacking with a Landorus at some point. And he just attaches another DCE. That is interesting, because, yeah, he'll be able to knock out my Keldeo, but with just an energy, or with 2 energy, I will be able to immediately respond to this Keldeo. No, boy, here comes the Stunfisk. If that thing comes down, it could potentially snipe my Magnemite on the bench. But at the same time, I mean, once again, my Magnemite is still good to go. Like, my Magnemite has not been sniped down yet. It can be easily hit by Stunfisk or Hammerhead from Landorus. But if he does that, he has to put up a Water Weak. Actually, Stunfisk, I don't remember if it's Water Weak or not. But, I mean, either way, it'd be something that I could pretty easily one-shot with something that I have on the field. Like, Keldeo's going down, but I mean, I have Feraligatr if it's weak to water. I have Magnezone that can just 2 energy lost burn it. And yeah, I'm in a very... Yeah, so I really do like my position. He's going to Junk Arm. Please don't get a reverse... Actually, no, you'd want to knock out the Keldeo, as that's the big threat right now. Yeah, he's just going to go for a random receiver. That is fine. What I could really, really use right now is a... What could I use? And he actually Float Stones up the Terrakion as opposed to the as opposed to the... Actually, no, sorry. He Float Stones up the Terrakion as opposed to the Landorus, but I mean, I guess that makes sense, because Terrakion you're just going to want to get rid of. And man, still no rare candy. But what I can finally do is get my Magneton, play that onto my Magnemite, and then let's Portrait, see if we can get anything. No, we do not, so I think... Yeah, I think I'm just going to have to let Smeargle go down. He will be able to X-Ball me for the knockout, which means he goes down to 2 prizes while I'm still at 4, so that makes this a little bit trickier, but I think we will be able to play off of the weakness of Landorus EX with Feraligatr in order to take the necessary prizes to win the game, or at least I really hope so. And then as long as he doesn't take out my Magneton, I'll be able to get a Magnezone next turn, and that should... I mean, it's really, really late. Like, this deck really is susceptible to drawing dead, which you guys saw, like, for the past couple turns. I just haven't not been able to draw into anything particularly useful. And he does have the end. Please, please play it. I would really, really like an end at this point. Gets me a new hand. I mean, I have enough Magnezones in the deck that I should be able to... draw into them. And then... Yeah, so I mean, Mewtwo, I'm hoping that he just knocks out my Smeargle. And then with the Magnezone, I can draw until I have a hand of 5. I'm not going to be able to Propagate, which is unfortunate due to the Garbodor, or Garbodor, whichever you want to call it. I mean, I actually literally call it different things all the friggin' time. But he does Hypnotoxic Laser, but with the... I mean, all he needed was just the regular poison, and then a Hammerhead knockout would be sufficient to... Or Hammerhead damage, even just with regular poison without Verbank, would be sufficient to knock out the Smeargle. So yeah, I'm just gonna knock out the Smeargle, and then probably it's gonna damage the Feraligatr. Like, that might be... Nope, I'm gonna keep targeting down the Magneton, just kind of bank on the fact that I don't have a Magnezone in my hand. But I mean, there's been very few turns where I haven't had a Magnezone in my hand this game. Just been kind of biding my time, waiting to play that thing, just play it down, and yeah, maybe do something. Ooh, I do get a Keldeo too, which, I mean, I can't rush in, but I can still use its attack, which will be nice if I'm able to get into a situation like that. But okay, this is interesting. So let's Rain Dance, get a Water Energy onto Feraligatr. Yeah, let's do that. Let's play a Lightning Energy onto Magnezone. And then let's Oak's New Theory for a fresh hand. Oh, that's perfect. I'm able to get, and I have a rare candy in the discard pile as well. So this is where things start to blow up. Because what I can do is I could... Do I want... No. P-Calming would be bad. I wouldn't have enough cards in my hand to get the knockout. Guaranteed. And plus, I mean, like, I have... Actually, I could have P-Calmed if I wanted something extra, and then Magnetic Drawed. And that's really bad English. But, I mean, like, that's... I guess that's the verbiage of Magnetic Draw. So, I mean, I would have Magnetic Drawed into more cards. But, I mean, either way, I still will be able to Magnetic Draw for 6. Just a full 6, and this is how we do it. Unfortunately... Yeah, there's nothing that I really want to Junk Arm for at this point. I can Float Stone up something. Actually, you know what? Screw it. Let's just go ahead and float in Junk Arm to get rid of the Float Stone and the Lightning Energy to grab the... What do I want to grab? Let's grab a P-Calm. Because, I mean, I already have the Silver Bangle. I would have Junk Arm for the Silver Bangle if that came up. But let's just go ahead and P-Calm for a Croconaw. This way I can get another Feraligatr next turn. Not really have to worry about that big Mewtwo that's going to come in and immediately OHKO me. And then let's just Float Stone up the Keldeo. Yes, I don't have the Russian and Retreat that I'm used to, but at the same time I still have something that has free Retreat in a situation. There we go. There's my Computer Search. I've been waiting on that for a while. So what I can do this upcoming turn, depending on what my opponent, depending on what Henry does, because I mean I still have the Magnetic Draws in order to get all the cards I could want. He will Hypnotoxic Laser, that's fine. I can manually retreat out if he does not, yeah, if he doesn't put me to sleep. So he didn't put me to sleep. Fine with me. That just means that he will be forced to attack me this coming turn with his Mewtwo. And then between the two Magnetic Draws of my Magnezones, I will have more than enough resources to get another Feraligatr and get plenty of energy on board. Because, I mean, my deck's very thin at this point. Like, I just have all that's remaining is stuff that I can work with. And the second he puts up the Mewtwo, I should be able to just one-shot that thing with Magnezone or Feraligatr or Keldeo. Like, literally anything that I power up at this point is capable of one-shotting the Mewtwo. So he is... I mean, Henry's playing to his outs. Like, he's a good player. He's going to be like, okay, well, I just... like, if I have to bank off of this fact, I am going to, and I'm going to play my outs to try to win. And, I mean, props to him. That's what he's doing. He has to go Mewtwo at this point, as that's the only thing that can knock out Feraligatr. Otherwise, I would just be able to knock out the Garbodor, knock out the Tracheon, knock out the Landorus, and then just be like one prize. Or, I mean, if he went Landorus for some reason, I'd win the game, which he would not do. But he's probably just going to go into his Mewtwo to knock it out, to knock out my Feraligatr. But again, between the double magnetic draw that I do have and the computer search and the water energy in my hand, man, he is just going for broke. He's like, you know what, screw this, let's put 3 DCEs on Mewtwo and just make sure that this Feraligatr is never ever coming back. That kind of reminds me of the Xerneas that had like 17 energy when I was up against Orabomb. But for the time being, let's just go ahead and put up the Magnezone. I should have plenty to win the game. Actually, I have enough right here just because of the water energy. I was able to Lost Burn. What I can do now is just computer search for that Feraligatr, get that onto the Croconaw, and then with my double magnetic draw. I mean, I'm kind of... I'll be honest, like, I kind of feel bad for Henry right now because I'm BMing a little. I just want to see how much energy I can go for. Let's go ahead and Junk Arm, get rid of... Let's get rid of the Magnezone and the Exeggcute to grab a superior energy Retrieval, which will net me an additional card, which will net me an additional energy. Like, I will have to discard an energy, and yeah, unfortunately... I was thinking that, oh, Propagate's active. No, it's not, because there's a Garbodor with Garbotoxin active. And I mean, again, I'm kind of BMing Henry right now, so I apologize, dude. I'm not trying to be an absolute jerk. I just want to see how much energy I can get on board and then just knock out the Mewtwo. I think, well, I mean, I will be able to get 7 energy on board at this point, and then I can just Lost Burn everything away to hit the Mewtwo for 350 damage, overkill of all overkills, and we will be able to take the game. So actually, let's just Magnetic Draw, see if we can get any more energy, and, well, we needed an extra card, but we decked ourselves out, so I have to knock him out, and... yeah, I mean, if I don't knock him out, then I just lose by deck out, so let's just discard every single possible energy because it's the last turn no matter what, and we will knock out the Mewtwo and take the game. I mean, it took us a while to get our Magnezone set up, but, I mean, luckily we were eventually able to, and you saw the power of Magnetic Draw. Just draw until you have 6 cards in your hand is absurd. And then with the discard cards that are in the Legacy format, you are able to play your hand down very easily to where you're able to draw into a proper amount of cards so that you can exploit it most effectively. You can use it most effectively, and Feraligatr Magnezone was able to take down one of the top tier legacy decks, and I mean, that was a really, really good game. I think I'm just gonna end it there. I know it was only one game, but unfortunately med school's a thing. Med school's killing me, so yeah, sorry, but I hope you guys enjoyed a very good game. Thank you once again to Henry for, I mean, taking the time to play against me. Like, I'm so thankful to have him around, because I tried to record just ladder legacy content the other night, and I legitimately spent half an hour just in the queue, like constantly refreshing, trying to get a game, and there was literally nobody on the legacy ladder. So I'm incredibly thankful to have Henry to play these games against with multiple different decks, fun decks, serious decks, all of that, and a good player on top of that. So thank you once again. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and this is Styx signing out. Why not? See you guys.